So this whole Trump situation where he's been fined for hundreds of millions of dollars for, anyway, I'm not going to get into the case, but I thought it would be an interesting way to segue into a basic concept of finance. In my opinion, basic finance skills are things that everybody should learn. Everybody should be pretty comfortable with this kind of stuff, because if you have basic finance skills, basic money management skills, which includes psychology to a certain extent as well, you can find yourself in a good position financially very quickly. The biggest problem people have is that they don't understand money, they don't understand finance. Anyway, so the whole Trump thing, the big dispute is how valuable his properties were, the perception of that, and B, people are out there who hate him. They're saying, well, he's not, he says he's a multi-billionaire, but he can't come up with $450 million cash, so he's lying, he's actually broke. See, that's anybody who says that are financially illiterate. They literally don't know what they're talking about. And it's not to defend Trump, it's just reality. Net worth, especially for the super wealthy like that, is not in cash. Like, no super rich guy, any person with a lot of money, a good net worth, is not going to have a whole pile of money sitting in their living rooms or in the bank account. That would be the stupidest thing you can do, because money loses value over time due to inflation. We've seen in just the last few years, groceries are double the price. So people with big money are typically financially literate, or they're advised by financially literate people, so they have their money invested in different things. It could be in real estate, it could be in cars, it could be in jewelry, it could be in rare art, it could be in stocks, it could be in bonds. Some people call that bonds. Another word for bonds is debt. There's all kinds of assets where your money could be stored. And that all added up equals your net worth. So with guys, especially in real estate, even guys who are multi-billionaires, it's hard for them most of the time to put together. It would be hard for them to put together $30 million, $40 million cash. Why? Because all of their net worth, or the big majority of it, is tied up in illiquid assets. Illiquid meaning not liquid asset. When an asset is liquid, think of water, means it flows easily. So cash is very liquid, because you just go, it's worth, that's what it's worth. It's easy to spend. It's easy to do something with the money. But if you have all your net worth tied up in real estate, it's a lot harder. You got to go see a bank. You say, hey, bank, this is my property. Can you loan me money against it? Blah, blah, blah. It's a lot harder. If you have stocks, that's easy. You just go sell in the stock market. Oop, sell, very liquid. You look at a typical billionaire. I remember I was reading this book by Felix Dennis, passed away. He was a self-made billionaire, kind of a wild guy. He wrote a book on Get Rich or something, or Getting Rich. Anyway, he was a very entertaining guy, Felix Dennis. And he was saying in his book that the typical billionaire would have a hard time putting their hands on $20 million. A very hard time. For the same reason I told you, all their money is locked up in all these different illiquid assets. Anyway, there you go, that's the lesson. The lesson is to understand how net worth is calculated, what liquid versus illiquid assets are. And this is all very important because it has to do with how you can position yourself in markets, how financially stable you are. You don't want to have, for example, too much cash, too much liquid assets, because it's losing value due to inflation, and we'll get into that in another video. But at the same time, you don't want to be illiquid, so that if something comes up, you don't have enough money to cover expenses. When the expenses come rolling in and you don't have much cash flow or cash, even though you may have a huge amount of value locked up in real estate, you can be in big trouble. Because the worst position to be in is when you need to come up with X amount of dollars, and then you got to do a fire sale on a piece of real estate, for example. And people will pick up on that. So if you need to sell a house because you got to raise, I don't know, $1 million, and your house may be worth 1.3 million, but if you got to sell quick, and you got to get the money within 30 days or 60 days, and it may take 6 months to sell that house, you're in trouble, because timing is everything. Anyway, there you go. I hope this is useful. Cheers.